Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. Welcome to the webinar. So let's start with a scenario wherein picture yourself in this scenario. You have a Monday morning and you've just finished your scrum. And by the time you finish your scrum, you get a message from your leadership team that they need a sprint progress report. So what the team members will do, they will just look at the Jira data, pull it up, copy it and paste it in a spreadsheet or a presentation. Take some time to format it. By the time the report is actually ready, the questions which are asked by the leadership team changes. So this sounds familiar, right? So this is the problem which the agile team usually faces. So in spite of being agile teams are scalable and adaptive, but when it comes to reporting, they face real challenge and it slows down the entire process. That is the reason we are here today. Amoeboids, along with the partner for the webinar, OBSS, which is a Atlassian Solutions partner. Together, we are going to talk about how we can simplify the agile reporting process, make it simpler, smarter, and very helpful in decision making. So let me share my screen to get started. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, it's visible.
All right. So let me first start with the introductions. So I am Mithila. I'm the marketing manager at Amoeboids. I work closely with the product and the customer support team. I also have Shruti from my team, who's a product manager at Amoeboids again. And she is going to help us today to solve this challenge of agile reporting by leveraging one of our apps at Amoeboids. Welcome, Shruti. Welcome to the session.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Mithila, for the introduction.
Yeah. We also have Emre from OBSS. He is the head of app development at OBSS and also has expertise in agile transformation. Hi, Emre. Thanks for joining us today. Welcome.
Hello everyone.
So let's get started with the agenda for today. So first we'll have the common agile reporting challenges in Jira, which the teams face. We'll also talk about the crux for today's session. That's the 5 strategies to simplify reporting. We'll have this product experts from OBSS and Amoeboids talking about the apps which are actually going to help you in these strategies which we discuss by leveraging the tools. We'll also have some best practices for actionable reporting. At the end of the session, we'll have live Q&A wherein you can ask any of your queries. Right? So let's get started with the first slide that's talking about agile reporting challenges. So when any reports are given for any teams, what they usually do is they manually do the data collection. The teams are going to pull up the Jira data, copy it, add it to their dashboards, will do repetitive formatting, and that is going to take a lot of their time. So that's one of the challenge which the agile teams are going to face. Second challenge is the reports which are generated are inconsistent and fragmented reports. Each team will have their different templates which they will work on. And the leadership team, which is going to look at the reports, they are going to get multiple stories, which will become difficult for them to review. Next challenge is limited visibility into bottlenecks and trends. So problems which are occurring in any report gets noticed only when there are delays, right? So it becomes difficult to actually eliminate those errors. So another drawback here. And the next challenge is, by the time the reports are ready, there is a misalignment between the agile cadence by the time the sprints and the releases are actually done. So by the time the reports are actually ready, the sprints gets over already. So it is not useful for the teams to look at the actual data. And lastly, it's very difficult to look at the real-time data. That becomes very difficult in collaboration and decision-making process for the teams. So these are some of the challenges which the agile team actually faces. Now, what is the fix for it? So this is the main core why we have gathered here today. So we'll talk about the 5 practical strategies to streamline this entire agile reporting process. So I'll talk about the strategies now. Strategy number 1 is to automate the data collection. Instead of using a lot of the team's time to actually collect the data, edit it, format it, and doing the things again and again to get the final report, why not automate this entire process, right? That is going to save hours of time of your teams, which can be actually used to deliver something valuable in the product. So we have Timepiece, time in status for Jira app by OBSS, which actually auto collects the time in status data from Jira issue histories. No changes to your Jira issue or workflow configurations are required here. Also, at Amoeboids, we have automated release notes and reports app, which automatically collects Jira data based on a JQL and creates reports based on it. So there is no extra setup or no exports which are required. Everything gets automated and it saves a lot of your time. The product experts are going to talk about these features in detail in the further section of our webinar. The second strategy is to spot bottlenecks instantly. So every workflow has some delays, right? But the problem lies in if you spot them at the end. So if you have the visibility in your reports right at the start, you can eliminate it without waiting for the retrospective pulse, wherein you actually look at what went wrong. So taking proactive measures right at the start by looking at the reports is going to help you to simplify the entire reporting process. So at with automated release notes and reports, this is going to we identify blockers and delays in the system by making bottlenecks visible to the stakeholders within the reports. And using Timepiece app with the timing status, cycle time, and other customizable metric reports, this app is going to pinpoint delays so you can fix it much faster without avoiding any delays later. So this is the second strategy which you can leverage. The third strategy is about customization of reports for different teams. So every team member generally has different workflows, dashboards, as well as priorities. So there's not a single template which works for everyone, right? So each one works on their own so that their questions are answered in the report. So maybe the product team will be interested in understanding what are the priorities for the features which are released. And the development team may be interested also in some bug fix reports. Spotting them, getting a customizable reports for each team is going to be helpful to help them in taking the decisions faster. So by using automated release notes, this you can use the feature wherein you can customize the templates and field mapping, so every team gets the report tailored to their needs. So every team member is going to get reports as per their requirements, and they can act on it faster. Strategy number 4 is to track trends over time. This strategy talks about not only on the live data, but data over a period of time. One of the reports is going to give you what is happening right now in the sprints. But looking at the automated reports, automated weekly reports, it's going to actually give you the performance over the sprints. So this is going to help you to understand if there are any problems occurring right at the start, if there are any delays in the cycle time, or there are some backlogs which are piling up. The teams can act faster since they can see the trends well in advance. So again, acting, being reactive rather than being proactive rather than being reactive is the strategy here. And lastly, we have the strategy turn data into action. This means looking at the reports not as a set of numbers, but using the data to actually take decisions. So by using Timepiece app by OBSS, you can identify bottlenecks before they become problems. So this is the strategy which is going to help you to understand what decisions can be taken over a period of time looking at the data numbers. So these are the 5 strategies which are actually going to help you to simplify the agile reporting process, and to just bundle it up, we have these 2 apps, wherein now we'll have Emre from OBSS, who is going to take us through the application Timepiece, time in status for Jira, how this application is actually supporting these 5 strategies. So I would like to hand it over to Emre now to take us through this app in detail. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mithila.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen so I can entire screen this one. Okay, I guess you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Timepiece, time and status for Jira, is a Jira application. When you install the app, you will see the Timepiece menu item on the left-hand side of the screen, the new Jira menu. When you click on it, you will see the time in status Timepiece screen looks something like this. I will give you a minute so you can digest what's on the screen. Here we have the project selection. Sprint is our current project, so we are working on the Sprint Jira project. This is a status duration report. This report shows all issues in rows and the time the issue spent in each status as column values. These are the columns. Each column represents a status, and the values, the time spent in each status as is shown as values in the column. Here, days is selected, so these numbers mean dates, but you can also select days, hours, minutes, seconds, or some of the more complex formats. So this is a list report. As I said, this report shows each issue, each work item with the new name, each work item as a row in the report, and the time spent on each status as values in that row. So here I can see how much time the issues in my project spent in each status. This is a basic workflow, so it has backlog, to do, in progress, test, and block statuses. There are some closed statuses as well, like done and resolved, but I removed them from the report for the sake of simplicity. Let's see what we can do here. First, we can see all the status times. Second, for example, we want to create our own metric, because these are simple status times, but that doesn't mean much to us. We want to see lead time, we want to see cycle time, we want to see resolution time. To do that, we can define our custom statuses. For example, let me show you how to say, that's my cycle time, okay? My cycle time includes the to-do status, the in-progress status, and the test status. I click apply, the report is recalculated. Now I have a sixth column that shows the cycle time. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but it contains to do, in progress, and test times, the total of those times. So I can create multiple metrics according to my workflow. After creating this is not still too much to see, but you can see the issue 466 stands out here because it has the longest time, but this might be misleading because here we have 50 issues in a page, so it's quite easy to fit them on the screen, but you might have hundreds or even thousands of issues, so it might be hard to find anything you look just with your eyes. So we can sort. Let's sort the issues according to their cycle time. Report is recalculated on the fly. This is real-time data, by the way. And now I can see the issues with the longest cycle times at the top, okay? So this one has a cycle time of 62.39 days. And as far as I can see, the culprit is the test status. So this one spent too much time in test, okay? I can still have so many issues here to sort through. So we also have the filter option. Let's say I just want to see the ones that have cycle time more than 15 days, okay? So I click on it. These are the ones with cycle times over 15 days. So I can see that this one spent too much time in to do, this one spent too much time in test, and the ones that spent the longest time in progress is these two, sprint 458 and 459, 14 days and 10 days respectively. Okay, so seeing individual issues is nice, but what else can we do? What else can we do to see the big picture? So since this is about agile reporting, we will be probably talking about long-term performance and sprint performance, stuff like that. So let's clear these sorts and filters. Let's go back to the issue list and see what we can do with this issue list. We can see each issue individually, or we can ask Timepiece to calculate averages for us, okay? By default, if I click the average, it will show a single row that includes 40 issues, all the issues in the project, and these are the average times, including the average cycle time my issues have according to their histories. Now, I want to see the trend, how this changed over time. So since issues are resolved in sprints, let's group this average by resolution date, week, month, and not year, month, and week, okay? Let's click apply. Here, two of the issues were never resolved, so they're shown in a separate row. But this is 2025, July, weeks of July, and August, weeks of August. And the issues resolved in each week and their average backlog to do, in progress, test, block, and cycle times. As you can see, cycle times are roughly consistent, but the August 10th, this week, it gets long, 19 days, the cycle time. And I want to see why. I want to see what happened this week. There are 7 issues in this week. So I open the drill down report and I can see the details, the list format version of those 7 issues. So everything seems to be nice except this 447 issue, performance monitoring. This one spent too much time in test, and that is what brings the average up. I can see this here. So I can do this annually, I can do this per month, I can do this per week, I can do this even for hours, days or hours. So if you are working with a high volume of issues, not pretty much a problem for agile organizations, or maybe you're working with service desks and stuff like that, seeing this hourly or daily might also make sense. Apart from that, this is date grouping. We can do this grouping based on any date field, including created date, updated date, or any date custom field you have on your issues. Additionally, since we're talking about Agile, we can do this based on sprints, okay? Now, I'm looking at the same data, but this time, instead of grouping by resolution date, I'm grouping the data by sprints. So, sprint 1, 2, 3, they had 12, 13, and 15 issues in them, respectively. And the cycle times are 6 days, 16.7 days, 10.9 days. So there's nothing that stands out significantly. Maybe the second sprint, the cycle times are a little bit longer. Once again, it is the test time seems to be the culprit. And once again, I can click the drill down button to see the details of those issues. 452, spent too much time into do, stuff like that. And another important point to make, sprints have many issues in them, and all issues are not created the same. They have different sizes, so the in-progress time, to-do time, test time, it would be unfair to compare the times among all issues. They have different sizes. So what can we do? I mean, we already grouped the issues by sprint. We can already also group them by story points, okay? So let's apply this. A different type of grouping, this time 2-level grouping. Now I have issues for sprint 1 here, the ones with 2 story points, 3, 5, 8, and 13. This is sprint 2, once again, story points 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13, and sprint 3 with story points 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13. Now I can see a better picture. What I can do is I can take the story points up and then group them by sprints. So relevant issues will be next to each other in the report. So these are story point 2 issues in sprint 1, 2, and 3. So I look at this, the times are pretty much the same. These are the ones with story point 3. These are pretty much the same. For example, this one here, story point 13, sprint 1, 2, and 3. We can see that there was 1 issue here, 1 issue here, and 2 issues here. And once again, the one that spent a lot of time in the test status stands out here. So it's the cycle time for this group is very long. So this is how we see the trend over dates, months, weeks, or over sprints. What I can do is also, let's take the story points out and go back to story point sprint grouping. I can turn this into a chart, okay? For example, these are the times for a single row. I can click the chart icon here, and I want to see the times for sprint 2. So this is backlog, to do, in progress, test, block, and the cycle time, since it includes to do, in progress, and test, this cycle time is longer than the others. What else I can do? I can see the chart for the overall report. So let's make this a clustered column chart, okay? Each status is represented by a color here. So I can see sprint 2 has the longest cycle time here. And now I can visually compare the values in my report. I got bar charts, I got column charts, I got line charts. I can see the values in days, hours, minutes, and such. So we went through filtering, sorting, we went through custom metric definitions, we went through grouping and trend analysis, we went through story points and charts. And to make things easier, that's all I have to show, but I want to tell you how these map with the strategies Mithila discussed earlier. First, our first strategy was automate data collection. Yes, these are automated. Timepiece gets its data from your Jira issue history, so you don't have to modify your workflow. You don't have to add any post functions or conditions or event listeners to your workflows. This data comes from, these reports come from the issue histories that are already present on your Jira issues. That also means when you install the app, you can get reports for your past issues as well. So installing Timepiece is not your breaking point. The second one is spot bottlenecks instantly. I think we already witnessed that one. When you look at the report or when you look at the drill down reports or your trend reports, you can immediately visually see which issues are causing the problem. This means you can easily pinpoint the problematic ones, and you can even ask Timepiece to send you alarms. I won't get into the details too much for the sake of simplicity, but here I can say that show me the time for cycle times. Let's say, show me the ones that have cycle times more than 100 days, okay? When I click apply, this will be an empty report because there are no issues with cycle time more than 100 days. But I can ask Timepiece to create a scheduled report for me, and I can ask Timepiece to do this. Run this report every morning, and if any issues cycle time exceeds my threshold, and if any issues fall into this report, send me an email. So I don't have to come and check this one every day. Timepiece will warn me when there is an issue with longer than 100-day cycle time. So this is the spot bottlenecks instantly strategy. Not this one. Let's come back to this one. The third strategy was about customizable reports for every team. I think it's obvious here. Each team and each team's project or each product's project can have a different workflow, but these columns are all dynamic. These metric definitions are all dynamic, so each team can create their own metrics and see the reports for their own process. The strategy 4 says track trends over time. We also saw that we have average issues, and we grouped our issues by sprints or resolution dates, so we were able to see the trend over time. Are things getting faster or slower? And the final strategy, turn data into action, is actually up to you. So here's the data. Timepiece shows you the picture, so it's up to the users or the managers to take action based on this. I think, let me see, yes, this is all I have to tell. Timepiece has a lot of different report types and all other features, but for the sake of simplicity, I won't get into more detail, and I'm handing over the microphone back to Mithila. Thank you.
Thanks, Emre. Thanks for sharing this. This is very insightful, rightly aligned with all the strategies which I spoke about just at the start. So let's move ahead. I would like to hand it over to Shruti, who's going to take us through automated release notes and reports app, how this app is supporting the strategies which we explained right at the start of the session. Over to you, Shruti.
Thank you, Mithila, and thank you, Emre, for a very insightful session and the quick overview of the app. That is really helpful. And just continue. And just let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. And yeah. So this is the interface of our app, that is automated release notes and reports, and we call it ARNR in short. So throughout the next 10 minutes, if I say ARNR, I'm referring to the app. So continuing with the strategies that Mithila and Emre just discussed, what our focus is on how to automate the data collection, spotting the bottlenecks, customizing reports, track trends, and turning data into action. So the first one is, how do you pull that data automatically, and how do you keep on doing that recurrently? So there are many things that you can do in the app, but as this is a very limited time, we have limited time. So just quickly touching on templates. So what are templates? Let's go to the template gallery so that I can quickly show you. So in any organization, you need multiple types of reports. It can be sprint review report, weekly customer report, release planning report, or if we just explore more, the version workload, running release notes, or the daily stand-up, bug tracking report, and so on. Right. So you need to keep on creating these reports, and for these reports, you need to fetch data from Jira, maybe fetch it in Excel, then refine it, and then create these reports. So what you can do here is create a template of that report. And there are multiple types of reports that you can create. You can just click on the preview to see what kind of data is being fetched in this report. And if you like it, just click on use. Sorry for that. Yeah. So now that I have selected the sprint review report, I'm so sorry. Yeah. So that I have selected the sprint review report. Now what I need to do is fetch all the data from Jira directly into this report. So for that, I'm so sorry. Just give me a moment. Extremely sorry for that. Let me just continue. Yeah. So in any template, what you need is to fetch data from the Jira, from all the fields that you have. It can be the summary, description, or the reporter and the version driver, and so on. So what you do is, for fetching data of any field, you have two options. Either you can use variables. I mean, the type of data, it matters on, it depends on what kind of data do you want to fetch. So there are different kinds of variables, project variables, release variables, and so on. For example, if I want to create, if I want to use same template for different projects, then I can use the project name, project ID, these kind of variables, so that I don't need to create that particular report again. I can just use this variable in the template, and when I create a report using this template, then all the data is fetched from Jira on the runtime, and that variable gets replaced with the actual data. And the second one, the most important, is the JQL section. So what happens in JQL section is that if you want to create a report for a particular sprint and you want to create multiple tables, one for stories, one for bugs, and one for new features, for example, then you just give in the JQL saying project is equals to project ID, version equal, the sprint equals to sprint ID, and type is equal to story. So that is going to fetch all the stories. But you cannot show directly all the stories, right? You need to show some fields. For that particular story, what kind of fields do you want to fetch on your report? So there are multiple fields you can select from the field, or the status category, resolution, parent. There are multiple custom fields that you have for your instance. You can fetch those as well. These are just the default fields for your information. So for this particular JQL, there is priority, key, summary, and status. And then you need to select a layout. So what layout means, once this data is fetched, how do you want to show that data on your table? Sorry, on your report. So there are three formats. Table will fetch all these issues and show all the fields for that particular issue in a table format, or a sequential format where you can define your own sequence. In what kind of sequence do you want to show this data? And this sequence will be repeated for each of the issue. Similarly, for grid, you can just show your own, define your own grid, and that card will be repeated for each issue that you fetch. Just for an example, let me open this JQL, that is bugs completed. Here, the title bugs completed, the JQL to fetch what kind of bugs do you want to fetch. Select the fields, select the layout, and insert it. That's all. Once you have a proper template ready that you can reuse again and again for every sprint, for every release, maybe for all projects as well, because you want to streamline and keep a consistency of type of report that you're providing, but you want to keep on doing it consistently. So once your template is ready, all you need to do is save, and then you can start using it. When you use it, let me just show you one of the report so that you get an idea what kind of report is created. So for this, I've used bug tracking and resolution report. The template that we were seeing was for the sprint one. And this is the another report that I'm showing as an example. So here in the template, I actually used project name variable, then the current date variable, and the duration. Again, this was also a variable. So that's how all the data, when I ran the rule and created this report, all the data was replaced. Again, just like JQL, we have stats as well. So you can even calculate what was the count of the bugs, or what was the sum of the story points of all the issues in your sprint or release, that kind of data. You can also create charts as well. You can create a bar chart. Here you can see the chart is created for the number of issues separated by priority. And yeah, this is the kind of data that you can show. So this is in table format. You can show it in various other formats as well, just like I showed the sequential and the grid layout as well. So this is how you can fetch data from Jira and automate it. But this is just one part of the strategy, right? Once the template is ready, you need to use it for different stakeholders, and you need to send it to different endpoints. So how do you do that? For that, we have rules. So just for an example, I have already created one rule. And yeah. So in rules, what we do is that we just go to rule details. Yeah. So for any rule, you have multiple actions and multiple triggers. When we say we want to automate it, we have multiple triggers for that. So that means you can run a rule manually, or if you want to send these reports when any version is created, then you can use the version created trigger. If you want to send these rules when a version is released, then there is version release trigger. If you want to send reports before n days, or maybe 2 days before any release, then there's schedule before n days of release. schedule an interval for the daily stand-up reports or weekly customer support reports. Then similar to version created and version release, we have sprint started and sprint completed as well. And the webhook trigger. So webhooks can be used to integrate these rules into your CI/CD pipeline. So whenever you deploy something, this webhook rule will get triggered and you don't have to look into it again. It will automatically generate the report and send it to your endpoints. And again, the endpoints. So sometimes it might happen that you want to create a page on Confluence and store your data or the report on Confluence. And simultaneously, you want to notify your team on Teams or Slack as well that, hey, this release has been released. Or you want to send an email to the whole team or just to the executives that, hey, this release has been released, and then attach some of the executive level reports in that email. So these things can be done by adding the actions. We have multiple actions. You can just click on add action and select which of the action do you want. Send email, publish to Confluence, publish to release page, widgets, external endpoints, Jira operation, JSM announcement, AI release note generation, social media, Slack, Teams, Sendesk, etc. So all these actions, you can select any of the actions as per your use case. And let me just show you, once you add the action, you just have a simple form that you can fill in. Just add the action name, what kind of what is the conference instance, the space that you want to publish your page on, what should be the page name, do you want to create a page or a blog, and so on. Just fill in these details, and the template that you're selecting in this particular action, for example, the template that is selected is template meeting notes. So this template will get executed. All the data from Jira is fetched in, and the report is created and published on Confluence. Similarly, there's an email action. Just select the email template, select attachments. Again, here we are selecting a PDF template or the MS PowerPoint template, and you can add multiple types of templates here in the attachment section, or you can add a Slack message. Again, just select a template and select the connection and channel that you want to send to. Similarly, the same use for MS Teams as well. Just select the template, then select the connection and the channel that you want to post it, and save it. Once you run the rule, you can either run it manually or depending on the trigger that you're using. Logs, you can see, go to logs, and you can see all these rules have been executed successfully, and you can just see the message that was automatically published via ARNR. So here there was no manual intervention. You didn't have to check what kind of, you don't have to check, okay, was this team, was the QA team notified, over the high level executives were notified about it? Did they receive the report or not? Were there any errors in the report or not? You don't have to check anything. All the data is safe and correct in your Jira issues, and that is being fetched into your reports automatically. And one thing that I missed explaining is that we have multiple types of templates. So yes, you can use the readily available templates in template gallery as well, but you can also create your own custom templates and in different forms. For example, email, PDF, Confluence, Slack, MS Teams that we just saw. A PowerPoint presentation can also be created. A LinkedIn announcement, you can also create an AI generated video based on your PowerPoint. A release presentation, a JSON template, HTML, Markdown, Word, and so on. So there are multiple types of templates. So you don't have to think about what how your stakeholders want, in which form your stakeholders want this report. You can create in many different forms. So that is how you can apply these strategies that were explained by Mithila. Automating the fetching of data, using it in templates so that you don't have to manually create it again, and then again automating these templates and sending these reports via rules. One more interesting thing I'll just like to touch base on is the AI generator. So if you want that your data should be modified in the reports, you can just use the AI generator to fetch the data in one of the fields. For example, you want to fetch the data from description, you want to modify it according to your need. You can just give a prompt of how do you want to modify it, save it in another field, and then use that field in your reports so that you don't have to rewrite the descriptions again depending on your stakeholders. And you can customize your reports according to what kind of data do you want to share in those reports. So that's all about the app and how you can utilize this app to uh, apply these strategies in your organizations. And one last thing that I would like to highlight and discuss in this webinar is the agile reporting best practices. So the first best practice that is that align with the agile credits. It doesn't matter if you're using sprints or releases. Uh, Reports should be integrated naturally in your process. It shouldn't feel like a burden. Customize as per audience. So your executives might need just the high level data. The product owners might need the priority wise data, and the dev teams will need a detailed tech data which will help them take actions. So that kind of customization is needed. Only then your reports are effective. Use visuals over raw data. Not everyone is going to go and check summary and description for each of the issues. So the more data visuals you use, or the charts you use for showing your data, it is more adaptable for the end users, for the audience of your reports. And lastly, integrate reports into your workflows. So these reports are something that is going to help you identify the bottlenecks, something that is going to help you minimize the issues discussed in the retrospective meetings, to be proactive instead of reactive. So these reports, wherever required, should be integrated right from the start to end in your workflow to best help uh, optimize your workflow. And with this, I'll end my presentation and let me hand over back to Mithila.
Yeah. Thanks, Shruti, for brief walkthrough and how the strategies gets aligned to the app features. And also, I'm sure the best practices are going to help us to, streamline the entire reporting process as well. So, coming to the end of the session, I would like to ask the audience if they have any questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And you can also add it to the chat box.
Yes, Mithila. So, Mithila, I would like to ask you a question. So,
Hello? Any
Thank you very
questions?
much.
All right. So I think we don't have any questions right now. So here are some important resource links. So the apps which we spoke about, the automated release notes and Timepiece app. We have ARNR app free version, which is available on the Atlassian marketplace, which you can utilize to check out the features. Here is the direct link. At the end of the session, we'll also share the presentation link and the recording link in the coming days so that you can have a look and try out these applications. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time. Thank you for joining us today. For more such sessions, feel free to go to our YouTube channel and check out the webinars, and stay tuned on our LinkedIn page to check out the upcoming webinars which we have in the coming days' time. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for the session.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you.